Welcome to Nugsville, the weekly podcast brought to you by Nifty Nuggets. I'm your host, Cryptovius, and joining me this week, as always, with his crystal ball, is Channing.
Hello. Crystal ball again.
Yeah, it strikes again. Thanks for joining us. And if this is your first time, make sure you leave a comment, smash the like button, and subscribe. So hit that bell notification. Make sure you share it. You can get us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And when you do, just leave that 5-star review. And for super quick updates, because we post quite regularly with giveaways, make sure you follow us on Twitter at NuggetsNifty. So we're just going to jump straight into the show, get on with it. But before we do, just remember, nothing you hear in this video should be considered financial advice, and it's just for entertainment and educational purposes only. So without further ado, Channing, hit us with that crystal ball.
Nuggets Network.
How you been? How you been? You been okay?
I've been all right. How have you been?
Yeah, you know what? I've been absolutely fantastic. I had a 2-week holiday. So I went to Spain, so got the ferry across, drove across Spain, and then on my way back, I drove home. So I went through France, and it was just great to get away. I was missing Web3 world, to be honest. Wi-Fi was decent over there. For a change, so I was able to jump in the evenings and kind of get my Web3 fix, so to speak.
Well, I can assure you that nothing exciting.
By all accounts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. It seems like I didn't miss much anyway, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, nothing exciting has happened during the last 2 weeks, probably. At least that's what I thought. I haven't opened my ledger too much. It's just basically doing nothing. And then a lot of people are feeling doing nothing is actually pretty hard. I mean, by doing less, it doesn't mean that you're stepping away from the market. You're still watching the market. You're still watching where the market is going. But it just don't do too much because just so much uncertainty right now over there. So shall we have a look at the market cap first, as usual?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so the market cap has finally crawled back to $1 trillion, which is pretty awesome. But I wouldn't be too excited so far. I'll tell you about the reason in a second. But Bitcoin is around $22,000. Ethereum is around $1,200. Nothing really excites me. It's just same old. A lot of altcoins are moving up because last week they were moving down. So basically nothing has happened, right? I mean, look at this. Solana has been increasing for 13.6%. But actually, if you look at last week, it has down somewhere around 15%. So it's really just nothing changed. And same as the NFT world, I mean, a lot of degen plays, a lot of things that we thought was very promising is not doing a lot very good. And then a lot of free mints are just, hanging on the charts right now, hanging on the top charts. So I don't even know what's happening these days. But if you ask me, I'm not doing too many things at the moment just because it's just too dangerous and too easy to lose money rather than make money this time. So better to hold
100%.
Yeah, just better to hold Ethereum, or even better, if you want to, you can hold USDC in your wallet in these uncertain times.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about the free mints and how that links into what you said with regards to people being bored. But I'll let you continue with the older charts.
Sure. A lot of people has been saying, look, why is crypto crashing so hard? Why is crypto really a scam? Is Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme? Is blockchain really? That's nothing is new. To my opinion is you can't just really look into one asset class and you say, hey, why is this asset class is crashing, right? You have to look at all the other asset classes and then do a comparison. So you can't just say a car is running 60 miles per hour. That's slow or fast. You can't say anything, right, without any context. And then all the other cars are running 120 miles per hour, and then my car is running 60 miles per hour. So I'm slow, right? But if other cars are running 50 miles per hour, I'm running 60 miles per hour. I'm the fastest one. So when we compare to crypto market or Bitcoin market, of course it's pretty volatile just because how small the crypto the market cap of crypto is. I mean, the whole crypto world is only $1 trillion, and we have talked about, I think Microsoft was around $2.3 trillion. That's like one company, right? That's so much more. And Meta is around 2.7. I remember. I might be wrong, and that's the data from a few months ago. But what I'm trying to say is the data of that is the data, the market cap of one company, the stock, is so much higher than cryptocurrency all put together. So that means it's volatile.
I bet their market caps don't look like that now. I think everyone's been taking a bit of a battering.
Exactly. So
including my own bags.
Including your own bags, of course. I mean, we talk about some of the riskier ones in a second, but even like Nasdaq has been so close correlated to Bitcoin and the crypto market. But look at how big the crush of the Nasdaq is. Let me have a look at the ruler here from the top, which was the November last year, November 2021 to now. That's 35% down already. So that's massive, right? If you broaden the horizon, last time we've seen these was around the .com bubble, or probably 2008. That was a big drop as well, but it's just nothing significant compared to this one. And then if you have a look, the spider, the SP 500, which is more stable one because it's 500 stocks all put together. So it's dropping big as well. I mean, last time dropped this big was the COVID shock, the black swan event. So everything is dropping. Even surprisingly, like even gold and silver is dropping these days. Let's have a look at the gold chart here from the April 2022 to here. It's dropping, and silver is dropping too. So everything is dropping, and then you can't just say, "Oh, why is crypto dropping?" Because everyone else is dropping. What do you expect, right? And
I think with crypto as well is that because it's so volatile, it's so new, the drops tend to be more extreme, and the more extreme something is, the more extreme people's opinions are, and like you said, you have to broaden your horizons and look out across the landscape as a whole, not just crypto, but Web 2 traditional stocks and trades.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Web 2 is the place where people host their money. Web 3 is just a small thing, right? The Web 2 is the place that hosts money. But even in the Web 2 world, I mean, let's pick up two random stocks. I didn't thought this through. I just picked up the random things on the trading view on the right-hand side, and Apple, Tesla, and Netflix. But then even Tesla, as we can see, the top was in 2021's November as well, quite the same, and then dropped 50% from the top to the lowest of the last week. And then Netflix, whoa, this is big.
Wow.
We are around
That's a nosedive.
Yeah, man, we're at 2017 level now. That looks like a altcoin. That actually looked like the Terra Luna crush. 76% down. Yeah. I didn't dig into this Netflix stock. I don't know what happened. Probably something really, really bad happened, a scandal or something. I don't know. But when you look at all these things, you can't really say crypto is a scam. It's one of those assets that are losing value right now these days, and because of course, we talk about it, the CPI number and the interest rate, which is in the hands of Powell or the Feds. So they are really the ones who control all these things, really. So last time we talked about the CPI number, that was the CPI number release was in the 10th of June. Which was about a month ago. And then if we look at the Bitcoin chart from here, you see the biggest red candle over here. That's when the news was dropped. So that was from the 6th to the 13th of the June. That's the biggest candle over there. And if you go to other things as well, look at this. You don't see this often, right? You see these. There's no connection between these two. That means the closing and the opening of the next day, that's a huge gap over there. Just this alone, you can see how massive the news were. So that was the same news, same time period. And because crypto is 24/7, so that doesn't have a gap. But this one is Friday, they announced news, and Monday that just opened so low and kept dropping. So that's something. And then Nasdaq is the same. I mean, if we just look at this, that's a gap over here. It's so easy. I don't even have to time my mouse. I just know. You when you see these big candles, you know where it is. So that was the news drop. And what we're trying to do is to not predict, but see what happens next. I don't know what's happening with this chart on my screen right now. It's only showing 8.3, which was the before the March, the April and March, April data, but right now we're at the 8.6. Actually, the last one was 8.6, and then that was the highest of the last 40 years. So last time we happened was in 1981. And then if you are wondering what's going to happen later on, it's probably for people who to understand what happened this year. So this started, last time we started having these was in 1973. And that was a historical moment because that's when the US took off the gold standard of the currency. So basically, US dollar doesn't have to be backed by gold anymore at that time. So that's when the inflation just roared so high, skyrocketed actually. But a lot of things has changed, and history doesn't repeat, but they do rhyme. So if you really want to know what's going to happen later on, you probably want to refer to this history and then have a look what really happened over that time, which will give you a lot of a better indicator. So next time we're watching for really like, come on, this is one big thing in the world. It is, if you are in the US, that would be the 13th of July, 2022. And that would be, at the time of the recording, we have, 5 days from now to look out for this number.
Yeah.
So if the CPI number is going higher than 8.5, I'm just throwing random numbers here. It doesn't have to be 8.5, 8.6, 8.3, right? Somewhere over 8.5, that would be a huge, big shorting signal. That means a lot of people would be shorting. The market is going down. And if the CPI is actually lower, let's say 8 or 7.5, which is so good, and then we can see a bounce back of the Bitcoin and all the other asset classes right away from over there. So that is my guess, and historically that has been played quite accurately. So what do we have to do is just to see that number. Basically, what does it mean is because the US consumer price index, which is the inflation rate, is too high, that means the Fed is going to increase the interest rate again. And then increasing interest rate, that means a lot of people cannot afford their debt. Therefore, they go bankrupt. Therefore, just less money on the market. So the consumer price index can be dropping down. I mean, their goal is to have the CPI down to 2. So here is where their target is. Maybe they can have it in 2024. I believe that's their goal. So we're gonna see these drop. And then they did say that they are going to do it regardless what is going to happen. So let's just take a bold guess. If the CPI number is 9, that means probably next interest rate is going to increase as 1% rather than 0.7 or 0.5. That's going to be 1%. And then that's massive. Even in the history of the US, it's just never happened. I don't say never happened, but very, very rarely, because last time that they raised 0.75, that was in 1994. And to see how many things has happened in, from that time to now. So really scary times. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking about the macro market right now.
Yeah, well, looks like we just got to wait for these numbers to come out and just try and ride the storm as best we can, That's why it's important to make sure that we're savvy with how we put our money and use our money and where we put our money and use our money. And that would link back to, I suppose, in terms of NFTs, these like so-called degen free mint kind of plays that have been popping up recently. Is you have to be experienced and smart because they are extremely high risk. So like you said, sitting on the sidelines and waiting, being patient, sometimes may feel like the hardest thing to do, but and boring to do, but sometimes it's the smartest thing to do,
Yeah, I agree. And it's a layer on top of another layer and on top of another layer, right? We're talking about because a lot of people in the crypto world or in the NFT world, they don't even care about this CPI number, this interest rate, these macro things. But for me, I think that's the key indicator of these things. That's like compared to all these things, what happens in crypto world or NFT in the NFT world, it's a small baby. It's a peanut out of the whole I don't know, a whole world, a whole sea, so it's just really a small thing. Let's say, why am I not getting into a lot of NFTs these days? Let's say I got into one NFT that 4x, and I'm pretty exciting about it. But the Ethereum price has dropped the 4 times already, from 4,000 to 1,000. So it really doesn't worth to do anything if the market is not stable, especially we are only 5 days away from the CPI number. And then a lot of people are betting on this CPI number. It's going to be a lot higher than before as well. So I'm not in a position to bet on any of these numbers because I don't think I'm capable of doing that. But if I think anyone would be able to do that, that'll be Ray Dalio with his Bridgewater. As the news had said, the Bridgewater doubles their short bets in the Europe to 10.5 US dollars. That's 10.5 billion dollars. So we're talking about,
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, mate. Think about it. Like before, with last week, I've said FTX was trying to buy the BlockFi with $240 million, if I remember correctly, and then which was such a loss because BlockFi was valued to be $3 billion in 2021. And then at that time, people were saying, wow, such a big, successful company, $3 billion. And then we had the 3 Arrow Capital fiasco thing. 3 Arrows Capital were having 10 billions of funds in their asset at a time. I think it was around 2021 as well. And then people were saying, well, they are the biggest crypto fund or crypto company or crypto hedge fund out there, because it's just so much money. And then the Web2 company comes in and they casually just put on some bets on something, and then the bet is $10.5 billion, higher than any of the number we just said.
And the scary thing is that 10.5 billion is probably like 10% of their company value, if that, and it just makes you, it makes you realize that mass adoption and the real big guns, the real heavy hitters, they haven't even entered the NFT crypto market properly yet. And when they do, and this is what everyone's kind of hedging themselves on, when they do, that's when you're going to see the real massive explosion.
Fireworks.
That's what I believe anyway. Yeah, that's what I believe. I know it's all speculation, but if you just go on those sort of numbers, if that fund can, how much percentage is it of their net worth? Do you know? Is it 10% or
Yeah,
less than, or
less than 10%,
or
I believe. So according to here,
See.
2021 a survey done, the asset under management is $140 billion US dollars for Bridgewater. So that is less than 10% actually.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So
And then there's more companies like Bridgewater that are operating in Web 2. So, you know, and they haven't even got involved either. So it's not just like we're waiting in terms of Web 3, we're waiting for one company to jump in. Although if one company does jump in, that will create a snowball effect. But the point I'm trying to make is that not just one company is going to be the starting point of the boom, so to speak. It's going to be a whole influx of all of these big hitting companies coming in, and it's just going to be, like you said, Channing, fireworks, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, or one that works at least, so I don't really know, but that's what I'm speculating on. And that's why I think, personally, that this time, although it may be quiet or not much happening, I think this is a real good time to be in the space, Web3 space, because you can actually do a lot of learning. And I feel as though learning in the bad times, like compared to the bull market, so learning in a bear cycle, I think can be more powerful than a bull market, because lots of people will be losing money and you can learn from those experiences. Whereas in the bull market, you know, when we saw before the end of the year, you could literally just buy any coin or buy any NFT and you was going to make money. So it's hard to learn lessons from that, as opposed to the bear cycle, where, you know, most of the things you buy at this moment in time, you're going to lose money. Not everything, but most things.
And I agree. And then also, when you're learning from the bear cycle, in the bear cycle, you can actually learn the real thing, and then you can get a hint of what's going to happen in the next bull run, because the next bull run is going to come. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? And then in the bull market, it's just too much noise around, and it just everything is so hyped up. The Safe Moon, the doggo coins, these dog coin, that dog coins, they're just 10x overnight, and it just what's really there. And you ask question, what is the utility of this coin? And people answer you, why do you even care about utility if this 10x give you 10x overnight? So it's just really nothing to do in the bear market, in the bull market. I'm sorry. So in the bear market is the ones when you start to learn all these things, and then when you see people who are actually building things, such as Nifty Nuggets, such a great community that you can see people are still inside, we are still building, we still have a lot of things going on, nobody's stepping away from it, and that gives you the confidence that what if the next bull market comes again, and what's going to happen in this community rather than a lot of other I wouldn't mention names, their community, right? So that's a really big difference.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that's really caught my eye that I want to brought to your attention as well, is even though we see the consumer price index or the inflation rate is rising, we are seeing gold price and silver price having a downturn these few weeks. I mean, even the gold, I've been watching this gold and silver for a long time, and look at this. When the times are unstable, we're supposed to see gold increase in their price and silver too. But as a result, we're seeing downturn too, because normally I'll say gold and silver compared to the SP 500, they have a reversal correlation, which means that when one is going up, the other one is going down, supposedly. But if we have a look at this on a bigger picture from 2008, where is 2008? So you know, the gold price just skyrocketed from the 2008, and it has been on this level for quite some time. So what is the reason of it? I think it's really interesting because when we're comparing to the gold price and the silver price, we are comparing to the US dollars, which is very, very interesting because when we're talking about, the US CPI is so high, 8.3, 8.6, that's so high, but we are talking, remember the car example I just made earlier? Because you can't just say if a car is running 60 miles per hour on the highway, is it fast or slow? You can't say anything without any comparison, right? But if you put in other countries' CPI number into comparison, and you will see actually a lot more countries, they are having 10%, 20%, 15%, even 50% of the consumer price index or the inflation rate, or 75% of the inflation, which is so much higher. And then if you look back to the US CPI, it looks like the US CPI is almost going backwards because all the other cars are running so much faster. And then from their point of view, the car of the US CPI is going backwards. They are the safest asset. So for them to make the logical bet is to change their local currency into the US dollar, such as we can see, the euro has just hit $1.01. The euro compared to US dollar. This has never happened in my memory. Actually, if we have a chart here, the chart started in 2006, and it never happened this low. So what's happening is this is corresponding with the Bridgewater is shorting the Europe stocks. They are betting against 28 companies. This is the same thing because for the people who are in Europe, I mean Europe is a big like one of the better ones. If you are, imagine you are in, let's say, I don't know, Brazil, Argentina, or other countries, Vietnam, and then the smartest thing to do is to put their money into US dollar as a hedge of their own currency. Let's say euro, for example. They are selling, basically what they're doing is they're selling their euro and buying USD. So which means the demand for US dollar has been increasing and the supply of euro is increasing too. So basic supply and demand model in the economy 101.
Yeah.
So when the supply is increasing of certain product without changing in demand, that means the price is going down. So that's what's happening with the euro. And when the demand, when the supply is the same, where demand increases, the price increases. And then that's what's happening with the US dollar. So funny thing right now we're seeing is everything compared to US dollar is losing their value. And then even gold and silver is losing their value too, just because US government is trying to make the USD the strongest currency out there, and they are trying to still make the US the global reserve currency, which is very, very interesting.
Well, it looks like they're trying to fight tooth and nail to hold on to that kind of power and dominance that they have with regards to being the world currency and trying to maintain it. But I just want to pivot onto NFTs for a little bit. Just a little bit conscious of time. So you mentioned before that people were bored, and one thing that I've noticed since coming back and even being away on holiday is there's a lot more free mints popping up. There's some projects that were minting for a price, and then they decided to, basically pivot and change plan and become free mints. So just wanted to ask if you've got involved in any of the free mints at all, or if you've avoided it. What are your thoughts on that?
It depends on the gas, and it depends on how much time I have. So if I'm sitting in front of the computer, I have a lot of free time at a time, I'll go and participate in one of those things. But I always, when it comes to the free mint, first of all, I use my burner wallet. Secondly, if I'm gonna use one of the main ones, I'll mint from the contract, which is very important because I don't want to connect any of my wallet into any of the websites. So if you don't know about how to mint from contract, it's pretty easy actually. You can search on YouTube, and then we can talk about it next week. We can show people how to mint from contract.
Yeah, that would be good.
So yeah, that's why. But why do you think people are switching into the free mints? Even the project, they had a mint price.
Well, so for instance, there was a relatively exciting project called The Possessed, which I can see on the chart is number 5 at the moment, and they had spent a long time building their community, and they've done really well, to be honest. You know, the art leading up to it, like to get into the server, you had to listen to a video, and it was really well thought out. They had their reveal, I think, yesterday at the time of recording, and it's been relatively well received. I know the floor price doesn't reflect it, but they minted last week, and then like you had projects like free mint project, God Hates NFTs, and that ended up like outperforming Possessed, massively so. I think Possessed peaked around about just under an ETH, so it was like 0.9 to 0.95, and then God Hates NFTs reached, I think that was like 1.4, maybe 1.5 ETH. There might have been a couple of sales around about 1.5 ETH, and that had no community building. And as we saw with Goblin Towns like a month or so ago, the meme free mints kind of picked up steam from that. Goblin Town obviously reaching like a 5-10 ETH plus. So it's like, I think people are bored. There's no real kind of the feeling I get is that not many new projects are trying to release now, so it's quieting down quite a bit. Whereas before the crash, like Luna and that, it seemed like there was loads of projects all the time that people were just, you know, pumping out, and there was more people in web like NFTs. Whereas once the crash happened, like the Luna stuff that triggered things, I just feel as though people have taken a step away. Lots of people lost money, and that can be quite difficult to handle, especially if you've overinvested, which is why we always say take profits regularly and never invest more than you can afford to lose, because if you don't do that, it's a recipe for loads of stress and potential disaster. But anyway, going back to the point, I just think that people they got nothing to do and they're bored, and if they got that free time, it can be dangerous, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually remember when beginning of the show I talked about how like I only minted 1 or 2 NFTs in the last 2 weeks. Actually, Possessed is one of the things I minted. So I really like the team. I really like what they're building, but it's just irony to say at least that God Hates NFTs outperforming them. It just literally is a ripoff of the one cartoon show, Rick and Morty, and then it just put a lot of things on trays on it, and then start selling things. I do agree with you. People are bored because before the crush thing happened, I mean, most of NFTs are like, you give me, it's a reversal thing of the actual business. Let's say you go into the shop, you want to buy something. Normally, what you're expecting is they have the actual product. Let's say Apple, you want to buy iPhone, they're going to open a conference. They're going to present to you. They have Tim Cook present to you, if not Steve Jobs. They present to you what's the new thing about it. What are the highlights of the product? They've been spending months of time, if not years of time, building this technology, and then they bring something new to you, and then therefore you want to buy it. But for NFTs, it's reversal. and they tell you they're gonna build this thing, but they haven't started yet because they need the mint money to start their research and everything. So they tell you their roadmap, they tell you their metaverse, they're gonna do this and do that, and then now you can mint, and then you mint your NFT, and then you wait. Hopefully they don't rug you, but more often than not, they're gonna rug you. The slow rug or quick rug, they're gonna rug the project, because right after the mint, I hate to say, but a lot of NFT projects, their holders or their founders are not experienced enough to handle this much money or stress. They haven't had this money before, and then after their projects mint, they are sitting on 6 figures, 7 figures, or 8 figures of US dollars in their bank account, and they feel like, oh shit, do I continue to do what I do, or I can just literally run away because I'm staying anonymous and nobody knows me. I'm not doxxed, so I probably should just run away with all this money and buy a car, buy a yacht, or buy a house. And so that was
buy NFTs like some projects have done.
Yeah.
Not naming any names.
So yeah, that's
going
what's
a big spending spree.
Oh man, that's crazy. So yeah, that's what happened, and then now people are realizing that, and then people like, okay, we gotta change something for people to realize, to change their mind. So instead of promising anything, they're not promising anything. They don't even have a Twitter account. They don't have a website. They don't have a Discord. They don't have anything. They just have NFT. They're dropping free mint. Everybody can mint, and then you don't have to spend any money on it. And then whatever happens, right? And there's no promise, no anything. And then that's when people started jumping into these things, and then realizing, okay, that can make money too. And then just pure speculations, pure speculating. Prices are going to appreciate over time, and then a lot of people are betting on it. But if you ask your friends around you, more often than not, they are losing money on free mint. And then people are like, why do you even lose money on free mints? Because Ethereum, and you still have to participate in the gas war, and you have to pay a lot of gas if the project is somewhat promising or hyped up. So they ended up losing money. So if you play one or twice, maybe you'll make some money, but the more you play, the more chance of losing. It's just like gambling. It's pure gambling. Yeah. In my eyes.
And I agree with you. No, I agree with you completely, very strongly on that. I feel as though it's like high stakes gambling, where you're just literally hoping for the best. And as you said, Channing, it's just based on pure speculation. And that doesn't mean to say that people haven't made money, but the ones that have made money are the ones that are experienced in the space. So for instance, what happens, for anyone that's listening who doesn't know, is that you normally have to go through a site called pre-mint. So these free mint projects will have basically you go to the pre-mint site to register your wallet, which should be a burner wallet at all times. Never use your main wallet, but you register your burner wallet, which is normally synced with your Twitter and your Discord, and then that puts you basically in like a raffle, so to speak. And that raffle will give you whitelist or allow list, mint list, whatever you want to call it, and you'll have a certain allocation. Now, the people that make the money from these free mints, one, they're minting most of the time, and two, if they're not minting, they're buying almost instantly on public using a bot, which means they're able to get multiple. And when I say multiple, I'm not talking about 2 or 3, I'm talking about 5, 8, 10 plus. All right, so they're using a bot, they're getting these 10, it's free, they can pay for the gas and lump it in one, and then all they'll have to do is essentially sell free, maybe immediately, once there's that volume wave coming in, because everybody who was trying to buy manually without a bot has been unsuccessful, and there's all this hype around the free mint. So unsuspecting or inexperienced or just high stakes gamblers, so to speak, they're going, oh, I'm going to buy on secondary straight away. But if you look at most NFTs, most coins, especially if there's like a initial coin offering or something like that, an ICO, when it gets released into the market, that's the highest price. So a lot of people that are buying these NFTs are buying high. Then there's normally a dump, because the people that are selling initially are the ones that minted 10 or multiple. They're getting their profits back, and then that's what allows them to hold, say for instance like Goblin Town or God Hates NFTs. They're able to hold their remaining ones and then steadily take profits, depending on how many they've purchased, will determine how long they can ride the wave. So some people may have bought, say, 5 Goblin Towns. They would have sold like 0.2, made their profit and their money back. They might have sold at 0.5, and then the other one at 1 or 2 ETH. And then they're thinking, well, I've made tons of profit, I can just ride the other 2 out. And then when it gets to 5 ETH, they're like, yep, I'll just sell this one. And then they'll go, let's see how high this can go. They might have even missed the 10 ETH peak and then sold on the way down back at 8. But that's how people are making money from it. So as a cautionary tale, if you do decide to get in on it, personally, I've only got in if I've been able to mint, and that's only been a couple of times. That the most recent one was Wizards, that I've managed to mint and sold at like 0.3, or just over 0.3, and that boosted me up, and that essentially allowed me to mint Possessed, because I had whitelist for that, and that was the only time. But there's a lot of, like you said, Channing, there's a lot of these nefarious bad actors that are actually draining wallets through free mints.
Yeah, because a lot of times you don't know what you're signing. So as you just said, use a bot and use your burner wallet, and don't try to sign any contracts from any website. Try to mint from the contract, which is the safest way I can ever imagine. And yeah, so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of people are thinking maybe I see a lot of people making money on the free mints, maybe I can participate and win some money. I'm not saying you won't, just take extra caution about it, because maybe because people who are playing this game and winning, they are not playing the way you think they're playing. They are playing with a lot of high technologies, so-called scientist ways to do it. So if you are just retail, maybe it's best just to sit there and then watch, or do paper trading. So you write down what you're gonna do, and then say at the end of the day, you see if your plan played out, and then you can have an idea about what's your win rate, what's your lose rate, and then there you have an idea about how much should you be participating in the future plays.
Yeah, and just to add on to what you said, using the burner wallet, I feel it's also important to have, if you are deciding to get into degen, free mint plays and all that sort of stuff, is to have a separate fund for that. So obviously if you're using a burner wallet, that's going to have a separate fund anyway, so to your main wallet. So just make sure you just use your a separate fund for your degen free mint plays, so that you can manage the amount you're spending, and try to put something in place where it stops you from over allocating. So for instance, if I've got main wallet, burner wallet, and my main wallet's got, say, I don't know, let's just say 1 ETH, and my free mint wallet has got half an ETH. Once that half an ETH is gone, I want to be thinking, right, how am I going to top up my degen mint? If I'm unsuccessful with my degen wallet, how am I topping that up? So it shouldn't be, oh, I'll take 0.1 from my, because I've run out of funds on my burner wallet, I'm going to take 0.1, 0.25 from my main wallet and transfer it over, because then guess what's going to happen? You're going to come back to your main mint, main wallet, want to mint something, and be like, oh, where's all my ETH gone?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So just think of a way. But you know what we can do for next week? We can, when we record, we can kind of go through, talk about this a little bit more in depth, to be honest.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds great. All right then. Well, I think it's probably time to wrap up the show. But before we do that, we have to tell people the secret word that they need to enter into the YouTube comment section for your chance to win a invite into the Nifty Nuggets server, so Nugsville, where you can join myself, Channing, and a shout out to our top resident DJ, which is, his name is Dr. Qureshi, and if you was to speak to Dr. Qureshi or hear him talk, you would see that sometimes DJing plays, although it works for him, sometimes, a lot of the times, it also doesn't work for him. But the key word for this week's episode is going to be, what is the name of Ray Dalio's company that invested 10.5 billion shorting, essentially, against the euro? So what is the name of Ray Dalio's investment company? And yeah, Channing, I'll let you take the rest from here, because I think we may have some winners from last week.
Right, no, we don't have any winners from last week, but I think the question you just asked is way too easy. That's way too easy. But anyways,
Really?
yeah, I think it's pretty easy. But let's just go with
Well,
it.
I'm feeling generous. Yeah, I'm feeling kind. I've come back from holiday. I'm feeling hyped. I want to see more people coming to Nugsville. You know, I want a nice, easy one to ease them in and get them in, and hopefully, yeah, join the Nuggets.
Of course. I feel the same way. I feel like we need to welcoming more people into the Nugsville during this crypto and NFT winter, so people can get a warm welcome, a hug from us, and then some advices of how to survive this bear market.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, all right then. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Once again, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you did like it, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, put that bell notification on so you know when the episode drops, and you can get it direct, straight, fresh, hot off the press. Don't forget to listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and make sure you leave that 5-star review as well, because that helps us out a lot. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Nuggets Nifty, because we've been providing some updates of what we're doing as a group. Also, there's been some giveaways as well, which have been quite tasty to get involved in. So make sure you do all of that, and yeah, just stay safe out there, and most importantly, make sure you stay crispy.
Stay crispy, guys.
So, thanks, Channing, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you very much. I'll see you next week.